You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the March 27th, 2024 meeting of the Michigan City Animal Control Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon. I'll do a call to order for the first quarter meeting of 2024 for the Animal Control Board. Time is 12:34. Of a roll call of members, Chairperson Cooney is present. Animal Control Director Euler is absent. And then Karen Edwards.
Here.
Dr. Bailey.
Here.
And Council Representative President Prespolinski.
Present. Yeah.
Excellent. We have a quorum. I do have printed off copies of the meeting from the third quarter meeting back from September 27th. That's the board's discretion if you'd like me to read them, or we can request a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's carried. We'll go right on to previous business. There's one issue on the table regarding Diamond. At the last Animal Control Board meeting, since we didn't have a meeting in the fourth quarter due to not having a quorum, we have a animal Diamond that's been at the kennels for over a year. Director Euler was supposed to come up with a plan at the last meeting, and unfortunately we're still retaining the animal. Personally, I think we're way beyond the time that we've been keeping this animal in a kennel for well over a year. So if Chad, if you want to give some discussion on this or any options.
We have a gentleman, I just met with him this morning. He's willing to work with animals. He works with animals over at the LaPorte facility, and that may be an option for us. But other than that, he's a good dog. He's just not friendly with other dogs.
Right.
So
what is he wanting to do? Is he wanting to just train the dog, or willing to take him?
Train him. Maybe we could hand him off to LaPorte possibly, and they would be responsible for him, because he works with LaPorte a lot. LaPorte facility.
Mm-hmm. Could you find out, like, in a reasonable time if that's a possibility?
I could.
Because I think if that doesn't work, I think we've kind of gone beyond where we should for retaining him, unfortunately. Because, I mean, honestly, I was going to vote for euthanasia today. Mm-hmm. So if that's an option, I don't know what the board's discretion is or thoughts, but...
Give a little bit more history about Diamond, just for the tape, as far as how bad.
He was a court case dog. He was found with several other dogs. I believe there was 7 in total, and we've had him since November 28th of 2022.
And how aggressive is he? I mean, I'm just asking for the tape.
He's just really aggressive towards a couple dogs. He's not aggressive towards people at all.
To the point where he would kill them, right?
Well, yeah, that was due to him being confined in a real tight space with the chains got wrapped amongst him and another dog.
So he has killed another dog, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only hesitation is, I know right now they don't have a director at LaPorte, and I don't know how long it's going to take to replace that person, and I don't know how soon they're going to be able to make any decisions, and I don't know who's making decisions right now. I know that's kind of news that I've gotten recently, so I just think this is going to get drug on. That's the only thing I would say, and so I would think that we make a decision today that if he can't be moved and with some hope of some commitment to ongoing training, that we not go more than 30 more days.
Okay.
I think that's, otherwise we're going to another quarter here before we're going to be dealing with this again.
Right. Any more discussion on that?
Yeah, I just have a question. So when he goes to, if he would go to LaPorte, then the training that would take place What commitment to training are they making?
He wanted to meet with everybody with animal control. He basically trains dogs for purpose, meaning that like if someone has epilepsy, he trains them. It's basically like a therapy dog or a dog that will assist people with the problems. That's what he was trying to explain.
So this dog would go from here over to LaPorte,
Yeah.
and then this gentleman would
Train the dog.
go over there and train them over there?
Correct.
And then the dog would be their responsibility, or would the dog always be our responsibility?
We'd have to ask LaPorte if they would take responsibility for the dog after that point. That would be our best option. So I think Michigan City wants to relinquish any responsibility for the dog.
Yeah.
Correct.
How long do you think it would take, or does he think it would take to go through the process of trying to train a dog? I don't know how long it takes to train a
Every
animal
dog's
dog.
different. I would imagine between a month and 3 months, possibly.
I am concerned that that's not his specialty. I mean, sounds totally different from what he's used to training dogs for.
Right.
So I'm not overly
Okay.
positive about that outcome in my own mind. Just from what you've told me, that's a total different scenario than what this dog needs training for. So I have to say that, I would still be concerned about this dog with other dogs.
I agree. I still think it's a risk myself. To place a dog in a community that has killed other dogs before, because I just don't know if, you're always taking that chance that it's gonna happen again.
And I have 2 clients that have lost fingers by getting between 2 dogs that were fighting. So inevitably, some person's gonna get hurt.
Did this person go to you, or did you go to him just for Diamond, or was this just in general when we have
Diamond.
long-term Animals.
Two dogs, Diamond and Petey.
and PD?
Yeah.
Because PD's been there just as long, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Is Petey okay with other dogs?
Sometimes, yeah.
Any further discussion? Any motions?
I would make a motion that if Laporte's not gonna take the dog and be responsible for Diamond within 30 days, that we consider euthanasia, and due to the risk to the public and other dogs.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Any nays? Motion passes. So Chad, if you just, we'll have till April 27th
Okay.
to make a decision on that.
Alright.
Okay. Additional previous business, the kennel expansion, excuse me. We have done some interior fencing done inside the kennel. I spoke with the new director of central maintenance, Daryl. He has already began construction on the front area of central maintenance to have a workstation for animal control instead of them working out of our building. So they're gonna have a new spot there that's by the kennel, so they'll have quicker access to handle those animals right there. We're gonna finish up putting in some workstations and desk area, things like that, where they already have Wi-Fi and phone and everything. So that's a good start for them. He's also planning on some expansions for himself at Central Maintenance. Speaking about the director, he spoke with Mayor Angie. They're talking of basically the expansion of the kennel and their buildings will be all together in one kind of swoop in discussion. Since the yard area needs cleaned up and some vehicles moved, and where we want to put the parvo quarantine area as well, the concrete pad. So I'm working with Daryl to do all that. So hopefully that moves pretty quickly. He's definitely once he has an idea, he wants to get it done, and I think that's a good push for us to get that ball rolling.
Good.
Any other previous business like to be discussed? New business. One of the things I had, the city is getting with a company and looking over our fines and fees related to law enforcement, animals, code enforcement. I did print off, I apologize for being so small, the spreadsheet of what our current animal control fees are, as well as other cities, city of Portage, city of Hobart, city of Crown Point, and city of LaPorte, what they charge, what they don't charge. So again, I just wanted to bring this to the board's attention, just in case if there's something that we feel the fees should go up, or we need to start charging fees for something in particular. And again, we can pen this for the next meeting as well, but I just wanted to, again, see if there's anything that we need to add, or even like licensing, and maybe it's not a charge, but just a, we had mentioned about, I think, rabies shots in the past, correct, doctor? So things like that. So I just wanted to provide that to the board. Any discussion on that?
No?
Any other new business? Dr. Bailey, Karen, Council President?
Yeah, well, I just have a question with the kennel. Right now, how many does the kennel hold? Is it 7 dogs?
7 dogs.
Yeah, so with the renovation of the kennel, is there gonna be an expansion of the kennel so we can hold more dogs
I think,
or more animals? What goes there, just dogs?
for the most part, dogs. We do have kennels for cats.
too.
Yep.
We had
Cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think, I don't feel there's a need to go too expansive in where we hold like 20 dogs, because then we're going to need to add more personnel to handle that. If they're full again with 20, that's going to take more personnel to fill that. So I'm open to discussion on how many we should be holding at a time. I think the main part of the expansion again was a wash base. You can wash the dogs, and just better drainage issues and things. You can expound more, Chad, if you want,
Yeah,
about what we need.
Maybe have entry from the inside of the building to the outside of the building with the like trap door, so you don't have like dangerous dogs. You don't have to handle them. Like court case dogs or dogs that are vicious and bit somebody and we're pending euthanization. So that would be helpful as well.
So that would be like the guillotine doors that would lead out to an outside run, basically. So runs were another aspect of the expansion as well.
okay.
So we did, I again reached out to a builder, received a quote back, and unfortunately they provided a quote for $1.9 million for, and basically, and that was just to add on to our building. And they kind of misinterpreted what we were looking for. I mean, basically they did the top of the line, you know, way kind of above and beyond what we were looking for. So I'm going to go back with him and see again and work with Daryl, because Daryl's big on, you know, us doing a lot of the work ourselves kind of thing, than just bringing in a builder from outside as well. So it was a little much.
Yeah, Chief, is that the same builder that, you know, when we were talking about this, what, a year and a half ago when all this discussion started, is it the same bid that you got way back then?
That was a different one, I believe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This builder pretty much works in pole barns in that kind of aspect instead of like a brick and mortar type. So it was just, you know, I was looking at for a different avenue of construction. It was still high. So
Okay.
Are they gonna do any kind of like separation between cats and dogs?
that's the other part of it. Yes, we want to have a separate area again, so cats aren't with dogs that are barking all the time and everything. Yeah, have a separate area. Yes. Which, speaking of, I know Michiana's talked about a new building, right? Is that closer to happening, or?
Well, it's still gonna be, you know, 3 to 5 years, but it is moving forward, and it's gonna be a lot better. And yes, from what I understand, we're still gonna have our building that, you know, we're still kind of up in the air as far as selling it and renting it, whatever we're going to do with it. So that's still on the table for discussion.
Good. Any other new business?
No?
We'll move on to review of animal control activities and the intake forms. So because we didn't have a fourth quarter meeting, we'll go into the third and fourth quarter animal intakes for animal control. For the third quarter 2023, which again would be September of 23 through, or I'm sorry, third quarter would be June through September. Total animals brought in was 41. Of that, there were 32 dogs taken in by animal control and 9 cats. Returned to owners, 20 were dogs and 3 cats were returned to owners. The Humane Society took in 5 of those dogs and 0 cats. The small animal shelter in LaPorte took in 2 dogs from us and then 0 cats. Fostered to adopt by Michiana, they took in 1 dog and 0 cats. Freed's Cat Shelter took in 0 dogs, but took in 4 cats for us. Euthanized animals due to injury was 0 dogs and 1 cat was euthanized due to injury. Found animals that were deceased by animal control. 2 dogs were found and 2 cats were found deceased before our arrival. And then aggressive dogs that were euthanized or cats. 1 dog was euthanized and 0 cats. For the fourth quarter 2023 animal intake, again, this will be September through December of 2023. A total of 46 animals were brought in by animal control, 40 of which were dogs and 6 were cats. Return to owner of those 40 dogs was 15, and return to owner of the cats was 3. Michiana Humane Society took 2 of those dogs for us and 0 cats. LaPorte Small Animal Shelter took in 15 of those dogs and 0 cats. Foster to adopt Michiana dogs was 1 and 0 cats for Foster. Freed's Cat Shelter took in 0 dogs but did take in 2 cats. Euthanasia due to injury was 0 for dogs and 0 for cats. Found deceased animals by animal control was 3 dogs and 1 cat. Euthanasia for aggressive animals was 0 for dogs and 0 for cats. And then there's a note down here that 1 goat was found but is currently with a foster. Is that correct? Chad, there's also on here listed Guardians. Is that a new
Yeah, we've worked
company?
with Guardians of the Green Mile. They sometimes take our dogs as well.
Okay. So out of that list, they took 4 of the animal control dogs and 0 cats. Any questions or discussion on the numbers? Alright. With that, we'll move to public comment. Any public comment, Chad? Did you know in here? No comment? Chief, we're on public comment. You got any comments or concerns?
Happy to be here.
We'll go to board comments.
I don't have any.
Council President?
No.
Comments?
Just glad to be here. Hopefully I can be beneficial to the board.
Dr. Bailey?
The only thing I would say is we need to review this coming year about some of the long-term dogs we're getting stuck with and how to deal with that better. We've got too many situations where we've had dogs for 9 months routinely anymore, and no matter how many cages, if you have dogs for 9 months, it doesn't take long to fill up a facility. So we need to look at, whether those are moved on, whether there's a, and I didn't bring it up earlier about fines, but whether there's more of a fine for the owners to keep aggressive dogs if they don't want to surrender them, something along that lines, because those dogs are going to take a lot more maintenance and risk to people that are handling them. So we look at those kind of situations if we have dogs that are aggressive. We have dogs that are tied up in court cases for months and months and months, and there ought to be some kind of a limit that these owners have to, that we at least request that they surrender them. So it's not fair to the dogs that they get stuck there for all these months and then end up making a decision 9 months or 12 months later that should have been made 11 months ago. So that's what we need to look at this year. And I know that has to take a lawyer and everything, but we need to look at the current bylaws and see if there's some way we can incentivize keeping dogs shorter. So that would be a big thing, I'd say.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because then that brings a question. So how much does it cost to keep a dog in the kennel, you know, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, you know, for 9 months? How much does that cost the city to keep an animal in our kennel with feeding and washing and man hours with the animal control officers having to go out there and take care of them? Is there some kind of law that could be put into place that, you know, if we're holding your dog for a legal matter, that you're going to have to pay for the lodging of this animal, or give up ownership to them, you know, something like that, instead of just, you know, it's not our fault that this person got in trouble with this dog. So why should we, and the citizens of Michigan City, the taxpayers, be paying for the housing of this dog? It should go back to the owner of the dog that caused the whole problem to begin with. So I don't know if we can calculate that in any manner, but
We could fairly get an average, just
Yeah.
I know most of them also we give, you know, medical care to, and there
Yeah.
are a lot of bills that come in for that on a regular basis, as well as the amount of overtime and just, you know, personnel that we need when we are full, that we, you know, we're going out twice a day at least to walk them, feed them, and it is time consuming. So, what I'll do, I'll start diving into that, see if there, I don't know if it needs to be an ordinance or just something that we can implement, but we'll,
Yeah.
I'll speak with the prosecutor's office as well, see what are their expectations of these court cases. I know recently you had a court case, and typically because they're so individualized to what's going on, the animal control officer reaches out to the prosecutor's office to figure out, you know, retainment, what needs to be done, if we need to euthanize, you know, those kind of things. So we are doing that currently. Chad, do you have any more on that?
No, we have the bond notice, but that's for criminal neglect. But a lot of times cases are where if the owner is incarcerated, we still have to take the dog, and it's not necessarily they're neglecting the animal. So that would be another thing to look into: is can we charge that person a fee for watching their dog because they went to jail? Because the bond notice only covers if the animal is neglected or there's some violation of the animal.
so on that point, so then if somebody gets arrested for something and they have an animal, do we automatically take their animal, or?
Yes, I have one currently we have that kind of situation going on
Okay.
right now, where the person is incarcerated.
Yeah.
They didn't nothing wrong with the animal.
Yeah,
It's just that we have to take on the animal.
okay. It's another good point.
Well,
Yeah,
another thing on that, there's situations where someone's incarcerated, they have aggressive dogs at home, they can't handle them. There's one situation like that right now. The other people at home are afraid of the dog, you know, and yet we can't, the people at home wanted to euthanize, but the guy in the prison. So I don't know if there's something that can be implemented on that situation too, because we've got the 2 dogs that are at very high risk dogs that can get the owner to sign off on them, I guess, or something.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that, what you're speaking of, yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice if there's something like a 30-day holding period, and after that, you sign off, they become a city animal, and then decisions need to be made. Because again, you're holding on to an aggressive dog that, you know, they're stuck, they're in jail, there's nothing they can do, but it's a risk for everybody.
and it doesn't seem fair to me towards the animal to keep him caged up like that. If this person's incarcerated for 2 to 3 months and they got a dog caged up at no fault of his own,
Right.
but at the fault of somebody that got in trouble. Yeah, so, all right.
More comments? Karen, any comments?
Nope, I have nothing.
I've just, again, I want to thank animal control officers who are out there every day working hard. They're putting in a lot of hours. They do a great job.
Yep.
A lot of respect for Chad for handling a lot of this with Director Euler still being off duty. So we appreciate you, appreciate Abby and Michelle as well. So as always, we do welcome any donations, food, money as well. Anything that we could do for the animals, feel free to donate to us, Michiana, even the hospital, Michigan City Animal Hospital as well. Any donations would be appreciated. And that's all I have today. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, first, second pass. Thank you.
All right, very good.